practice of problem solving. Now, every chapter or a unit, which you call it, you will be able to see that there are almost 400 problems that are to be practiced. Now, just imagine a teacher explaining you all 400 problems. How much time it will consume? What do you think? Minimum 5 minutes for each problem, and that too teacher is only explaining. He is not giving you any chance to think on the problem. He is providing only the solution to you. Then minimum 5 minutes. Otherwise, it will take even 10 minutes to complete one problem. So if you look at it, if I consider 5 minutes for the sake of calculation, it will be 2000 minutes. 2000 minutes divided by 60 minutes. How much it will be? Approximately 200 by 6 means approximately it will be 33 point something. कितना आएगा? 33 point आएगा ना? So 33 lectures would be required. Okay, this is first thing. Another important thing, if you go by CBSE way, they say that in 12 lectures you have to complete ray optics. So 12 lecture according to them is 12 hours. And I think we have covered 18 hours by this time. And even the first line of the syllabus is not over. Are you getting my point? So if I take into account the actual lectures required, minimum around 42 to 50 lectures will be required by the teacher to complete the content teaching part. So 50 plus 33, 83 lectures, take it as 80 lectures for one chapter. There are 28, 29 chapters in physics. So you can multiply it, 80 multiplied by, if I take it as 30 even, it will be, how many? 80 into 30? 2400. And how many hours you are giving at school to the teacher to take a physics class? 1 hour? 45 minutes, I'll take it as 1 hour. So you will be requiring how many days? 2400 days. 2400 days divided by 365. Even if I divide by 4, it will be a 6-year plan. Am I putting things before you rightly? So what is expected from a NEET student, that I can help you out. Solve as many number of problems as you can on any topic. This is the important message I am giving to you today. It is as important that every day you have a food for the stomach, right? Morning, afternoon, evening, you are having the food. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, you take that way. Even the arrangement is made that between the two lectures, you should get something that I am able to see, that 11 o'clock you are having a break, 4 again you are having a break for having some food. So your body requires a large amount of food intake. That's for true. But for the brain, you require much more intake as compared to that of the food served. So you should make a resolution of a life. So unless and until I reach to the NEET examination, every day I will solve around 30 questions of physics. Objective physics questions. Now, you are all in 11th standard. Let us assume that you are having complete 1 year with you, because May 5th was the examination this year. Next May 5th, you will be having the examination. So almost a year is there. So even if I make a calculation that you are doing 365 multiplied by 30, how much it will be? So you should be able to do it by step. 300 into 3 will be 900, right? 65 into 3 will be 195. So how much will be the total? 900 plus 195. कितना आएगा? यानी 1100 questions you will be able to do by doing 30 questions. Now 1100 questions are to be prepared in such a manner so that you are able to appear for the exam with a strong foundation. These 1100 practice problem that you will be doing in addition to the classwork, in addition to the teacher's teaching, will help you to boost your confidence on the side of physics. I can tell you one important thing. It is much more easier to solve the biology problem of objective or chemistry problem as compared to that of physics. When I say to you 30 problems of physics, I am expecting you to solve around 100 questions of biology every day. I am expecting you to solve 50 questions of chemistry every day. 30 questions of biology, 30 questions of physics every day. So if you take a total 150 and 30, 180 questions I have distributed for you. Now 180 multiplied by 300 days. Come on, tell me. 180 multiplied by 300 days. कितना आएगा? 5,400. So 5,400 questions are prepared by you. You will get most benefit. The problem with the student is that they try to implement the same methodology of solving the problems of physics on the same line as that of chemistry and biology. And that is why I have explained you that if you are aware of the formula, never use it unless and until you are aware that the same condition do exist in the problem. Problem condition changes, the solution also changes. Do you remember that? So that is the important message. So if you are preparing it on this particular level, you will get a benefit. We have not counted for 65 days. We have taken 300 days only. That you are able to do it for 300 days, this particular practice of solving 180 questions per day. I can tell you, you should always start with biology. And if you are able to solve 100 questions in 45 minutes, that is the perfect timing for the biology so that you are able to do the things properly. Take it as a word. I have seen the students who are able to do this, they are in the topper list. 100 questions of biology in 45 minutes. Chemistry, 50 questions, you will be solving it in a time of 60 minutes. There are students who are able to solve in 45 minutes, but I'm still extending it because there somewhere, some point you have to go for physical chemistry where you will be having a lot of applications to be used there. So it takes a lot of time. So that is the second part of it. And for 30 questions of physics, you will require minimum 1 hour. So I cannot say that 30 questions will be there in 30 minutes because normally this is a misconception. In NEET examination, you are having 180 questions and 180 minutes. It doesn't mean that one question per minute you should be able to solve. It doesn't mean. Many students are taking this as an assumption that I should be able to get the answer of physics in 1 minute. Yes, you will be able to get the answer of physics in 30 seconds. There is a little bit of scope in this particular chapter, but in other chapters I can show you that sometime it will work for you and it will give you the answers very easily. You need to be very much observant. You will be able to get the answers clearly. Okay? So at some moment I'll be able to share that particular part of how the shortcuts are to be generated and how you should work for that. Okay? So this was just a background for you all so that you can put down the hard work in solving the objectives as many as you can. I can tell you one thing very clearly, those students who are able to put down a score in physics, they are likely to get the admission in best of the medical colleges. Reason? Because all of you are aspirants for NEET. So your natural tendency to learn biology will be very high. So there is a less competition for the biology. Most of the students are scoring 300 and above. Those who are not able to score 300 and above, they are not the student made for NEET. So it's very easy to put down that score there. Then comes the chemistry and finally it's a physics part. But if you want to really see that your scores, suppose there are two students equally bright in biology. Both of them are having the score of 300. And other case, one student is having a score of 45 marks, another student is having the score of 120 marks. You can see the difference, what will happen. So physics, you have to make it strong. Most of the people also think in this manner that what's the use of physics in the further part of learning medical sciences? This is the thing that is coming in most of the students' mind, or teachers are also talking about it. But take it as a word from me. If you are going to the class of physiology in first year in MBBS, it's 100% physics. Then what you are going to do? It's 100% physics, I am telling you. I have seen number of students after going to the medical college first year, they come to meet me after 6 months or so. They greet me, they sit at my place, and then they say to me, sir, whenever there is a physiology class, we are able to provide the answer to all the questions our professors are asking us, and we always tell them, they ask us, ki, from where you have learned all this thing. So we tell them, ki Telang sir had taught us. So this is what is happening. So if that is the level of understanding, look, one important thing, understanding has nothing to do with the scoring. Please be aware of that part. I am teaching you with a maximum understanding, but making still a point that understanding has nothing to do with scoring, because you can have a greater understanding, but problem solving ability, if it is poor, then you will not be able to perform. Because in competitive exam, you need to solve only the problem. Out of 45, I can tell you, 42 or 43 questions will be only the problems. So you should start every day. Make it a habit. I know it's going to kill the spirit of learning. Do you understand kill the spirit of learning means what? How do we learn, and when do we learn? I'll tell you simply. You learn when you score marks. You love to learn biology more because you are able to put down the scores there. Am I right or wrong? If you are scoring in chemistry, great score you are putting in chemistry. As compared to that, even biology, 180 on 180 in chemistry. Then your first tendency will be to read chemistry than the biology. Am I right or wrong? So our assessment is based on marks scored by us. And that is the reason I am telling you that if you really want to score the marks in physics, this practice of solving 30 problems per day is required. Now 30 problems per day, what do you mean by that? This is another important point. I am taking your time, but I know this is extremely important. Whether your teachers have told you or not, I don't know. What do you mean by 30 problems per day? Anyone who can explain me? In our terms, we call it as an average. But I know the tendency of all the students. You will be getting pumped up with this idea. Today you will put down 30 problems. Tomorrow you will put down 30 problems. Third day you will feel kid will do it next day. Am I right? So this is the problem with the average. Are you aware of Mr. Kohli? Virat Kohli? Aware? What is his average in one day international? 52 point something, right? Now suppose in a match, if he is bowled out on 10 runs. Suppose in a match, he is bowled out in 10 runs. Will he be discussing with the umpire, no, my average is 52, I cannot leave the ground? Or he has made 52 runs and is walking directly towards the pavilion because his average is taken care of. So what he will be doing? He will go on playing. Same thing you have to do. When we set an average of 30 marks, it is understood that after 2 days, I will not be able to put down the 30 questions on a day. So what I will do, I'll take it as 33s are 90 divided by 2. I'll set a target for myself of 45 questions per day. So even if I am not able to work on a third day, my average will be maintained. Are you getting my point here? Are you getting this trick? Normally what happens when you take a target of 30 questions only, then you fell back off the target. Many times the target comes to 20 only. But when you set a target of around 45-50 questions, then even if you are not working on physics on a particular day, that will be helping you to make up the average. but this is not allowed for 3 days. I'll not work for 3 days. Then what would happen? Then you will start performing below average. This is, I think, something new for you. I always call it as a target table. I never believed in timetable. People talk about timetable because they think that time is very important. I feel that target is extremely important as compared to the time. Nobody in the world can keep the time. It's very difficult to keep the time. Am I right or wrong? Suppose I have to start the class at 9:30. I may start at 9:35. I may come here earlier but start late. I may start at 9:30. I may start 9:25. But timing is really difficult. So target is extremely important. And that is why once I told you that take a stone, if you are a non-believer of a God, keep it on a table and report to that stone whatever you have learned today, whatever is your achievement. You will find that you will be emerging as a winner. I don't know. I don't know what are your responses on this part, which I have shared with you. But that is my experience that I am telling you. I shared with some of the girls, I think so, about the stacking of question papers. I didn't share it with all of you. I have seen a student who had performed full in physics. Last 10 days, she used to daily visit at my place and sit up with all the question papers she had solved in a year, in a 2-year span. And she carried a box file. It was very heavy. She was having first the question papers of physics, all the bunch of physics question paper, day-wise arranged. Test is there, it will go into the box file. Okay? Day-wise arranged, right from day 1 to the last day, whatever test she had given. And for every wrong answer she had marked in the examination, she will take a piece of paper, close that question and write down the solution there. Or whatever options are there, wahan pe she used to paste it and she used to fold it there. So that she is able to see the question but not able to see the solution. And wherever she had that pasting of paper done, those questions, she got it wrong in a 2-year span. So she was the girl who was having the record of all the wrong she had done in all the examination. So if you are keeping the track of what wrong or errors you are making during the mistake you are making during the examination, and you are aware of it, then you will find that your chances of scoring will be increasing. She did it. She scored full in physics. After physics bunch, there was a chemistry bunch. Papers of each equal length. So physics was punched in that particular file upward. Middle part was the chemistry and bottom part was the biology. Biology, botany and zoology was treated differently. Never treat biology as one subject. Botany and zoology are totally 2 different subjects because our examination is based on the 2 subjects there. Got my point? I can tell you from my experience, probably I'm not aware of it, but overall, whatever my experience is there, you are all finding zoology to be much more easier as compared to that of botany. How many of you agree with me? Almost all. Did you tell me this part? Did you tell me this part? क्या ये आपने मुझे बताया? How did I come to know? My experience, right from after 10th standard, I have not learned about biology. I am teaching only physics. To a certain extent, mathematics too, but not chemistry, biology. Not from the students. Right from the day 1, I am aware of this part because I am able to connect myself in your place and understand what is the problem. But you yourself are unable to see that problem. When you start learning about the zoology part, you find connected to yourself. Am I right or wrong? But about the plants, you are not connected. But you are all great students because you are learning both the Vidya, Paravidya, Aparavidya. So you should get connected with the plants. You will find that botany will also help you. In Marathi, we call it as Shravan. Do you know this? This is a month. Savan kehte use. When you have a rainy season to a greater extent. In our culture, all the students or all the ladies or the women at the house, they are asked to collect different leaves of different plant and offer it to the Shivlingam. Are you aware? Even if you do that practice, your knowledge of botany will be increasing. You have to go and collect different. They normally collect 16 different plant leaves and offer it to the Shivlingam. So start getting connected with the surrounding. You will be able to see that this will always help you to understand the botany. If possible, not at this moment of time, if possible, sometime after your 12th exam, NEET exam, read the book, The Life of the Plant. It's a wonderful book that will allow you to understand how plants are communicating with each other. Do you feel that one tree is communicating with the other tree? Are you aware? So how that is done, how the trees are able to behave differently for different type of personality. Are you aware? If you go and start putting bad words to the trees, they die off. They die off. They are very sensitive. But the moment you read the book, then you will understand why those processes are to be learned. Otherwise, you will never learn. Because you have to get connected with that plant. That is very important. Right? Similarly, one thing is there in chemistry. How many of you have a good memorization skill? One, two. How many of you are having a good memorization skill? Those who are having a good memorization skill, they will find that around 95% of questions of biology, they will be able to handle it, 95% with the help of memory alone. With the help of memory alone. 5% part, I am giving it up to the part of genetics, where you have to apply the logic and find out the relations there. So 100% memorization of biology text matter will help you to score 95% of marks. 5% will depend upon your application of logic and understanding application. Okay? If you do 100% of chemistry memorization, you will find that 66% of questions will be handled by you thoroughly. Because physical chemistry is the 1/3 portion, that is 33.33%. So I can extend it maximum to 70% questions you will be able to solve on the side of chemistry with the help of memory alone. Okay? Got it? You memorize 100% of physics. 1% of memories will not be useful to you. It's only application, application, application. I'll not say that 1%, I'll say that some part of memory will be useful, but something you will be able to derive new, totally, which you have never seen. That is why I'm saying that most of the part of memorization is required, but that is to be applied in certain form that cannot be directly used as used in biology and chemistry. Got this part? Getting it? Why I was asking you about the memorization skill, your inorganic chemistry is 100% based on memorization. Even if teacher doesn't teach you, you just memorize it. Around 6 units are there. If you are memorizing it well, your chances of scoring will be maximum. Organic chemistry, they depend upon the reaction mechanisms. If you are well versed with the reaction mechanism or understanding of reaction mechanism, you will be able to handle with the help of memory the organic chemistry also very well. But on the side of physics, you have to put down a lot of hard work for the memorization. आप में से किसको लगता है कि his memory skills are weak, memory and recall skills are weak? Anyone there? गलत नहीं है. Do you really want to improve your memory skills? Should I help you? All or only those? We can meet afterwards also. Now, actually, memory skills are to be practiced. And I think, being an outsider from this premises, I think this memory skills of yours should be great. I heard to Swamiji, he said it, our students of MBBS are not able to memorize Bhagavad Gita, but are able to memorize the words of biology. Have you heard that? Am I right? But I can tell you, if you are able to memorize Bhagavad Gita, you can memorize anything in the world. What you do for memorization, what you do? How many of you are well versed with the Bhagavad Gita? So what you do for memorization? Recitation. We call it as recitation. So one way of memorization is recitation. Anyone who can tell me Newton's third law of motion? Anyone who can tell me the second law of motion? Look at the difference. The intensity of sound has decreased in the second law. First law? But the way you were telling me the Newton's third law of motion, the same way you are not telling me the second and the first law. Am I right or wrong? Am I right or wrong? Now, why it is happening like this? So you can imagine our sage had a vision and a wisdom to make the things happen in a rhymic manner. You are able to understand or remember the third law because of the two words, action and reaction. They form the rhymes in it. Am I right or not? Whereas all these Rishi Munis, what they have done, they have converted all the content in the rhyme form. Whole of the Bhagavad Gita is having the rhyming version of it. Rhymic verses in it. Am I right or not? Whereas biology, chemistry and physics do not have the rhymic verses. Are there any rhymic verses? Come on, tell me, yes or no? Leaving the action and reaction. You go and ask your parents also, if they have studied up to 10th standard the science, ask them the Newton's third law, they will be able to remember. But second law and first law, they will not be able to remember. The reason being, the rhyming words. So the English language is not that mature enough to have rhyming words everywhere. If they do it in this manner, the learning would become easier. So what is the first message about improving the memorization skill? Recitation is there, but in addition to the recitation, you have to create rhymingness in it. Now this is something difficult, but you can have the meaningless syllables attached to it and divide it in such a manner so that there is a rhymingness present in it. You will be able to memorize very well. Got it? Anyone there who can give me the definition of radius of gyration? Radius of gyration. Not recollecting from which chapter? System of particles, rotational motion. Now, why I have jumped directly onto the radius of gyration? Because such definitions are very big. They go it in this manner. Radius of gyration of a rotating body is defined as the perpendicular distance from axis of rotation to the point where the whole mass of the body is supposed to be concentrated. so as to possess the same moment of inertia as that of the rotating body. So it is a definition of 3 lines in a copy or 4 lines in a copy. Am I right or wrong? Am I right? Now what I did, I split up the definition by putting the questions, and I made the student to answer those questions. You are able to get the answer. The first line is to be memorized as it is. Radius of gyration is defined as, of a rotating body is defined as. This is the first part. Then there is a question, what is radius of gyration? It is a perpendicular distance. So radius of gyration of a rotating body is defined as the perpendicular distance. Second question would be from where to where? From axis of rotation to the point. Third question is how is that point where the whole mass of the body is supposed to be concentrated? Under what condition is the fourth question? The answer is so as to possess the same moment of inertia as that of the rotating body. So if the definitions are big, then you should have the parts of the definition answers to the questions that you are memorizing it. You will never be able to forget the long definition. Would you like to write down the 4 questions there? What is radius of gyration is the first part. Written. What is radius of gyration? First part. Second part. From where to where? कहाँ से कहाँ तक? From where to where? Third question, how is the point? Fourth question, under what condition? So I'll provide the answer one by one. The first part of the definition is to be memorized as it is. The first part of the definition goes in this manner. Radius of gyration of a rotating body is defined as, this is the first part. Radius of gyration of a rotating body is defined as, first part. Now what is the question? As the perpendicular distance. Answer to the first question. As the perpendicular distance. Then question comes from where to where? From axis of rotation to the point. From axis of rotation to the point. Then the question comes, how is the point? Where whole mass of the body is supposed to be concentrated. Where whole mass of the body is supposed to be concentrated. And fifth question, the next question, under what condition? Under what condition? So as to possess the same moment of inertia, so as to possess the same moment of inertia as that of the rotating body. Now you have question as well as the answers, right? So what is the first line? Say it in a chorus. Say the first line of the definition in chorus. I'll put the question then. एक साथ जोर से बोलो. Very good. What is radius of gyration? The perpendicular distance. From where to where? From axis of rotation to the point. How is that point? Under what condition? Just practice it 3-4 times. If you are ready, I can show it to you right now. you will be able to see that this definition you will never forget. This is called memorization by questioning. Dekhiye, I can understand no teacher is going to contribute for the part of your memorization. You have to develop it. Anyone who can recite the raga in music, the basic one? Basic one. Not in a physics class, only in the music class. You should not be like that. Anyone who can recite the basic raga in music? अरे जिसकी आवाज अच्छी है उसके तरफ मत देखो. You also sing well. Come on, tell. So anyone? Basic one. So we are actually talking about something related to the NEET, where what are the problems and how those problems are to be solved. About that I am talking right now. Then we will be having a problem solving session, or I'll start with a concept so that you can also enjoy that part of concept, and I'll take in the second part the problem solving there for them. So I'll just finish this part and we'll then begin. Okay. So anyone who can tell me the raga? अरे यार बहुत सिंपल है. I'm not asking you to sing, only to say that. Sa re ga ma pa dha. In a reverse manner. What comes after dha? In ascending order. ध के बाद नी आता है in the ascending. Descending में? Are you all getting it? Now you can remember it in between also. Even if I use, suppose in a ascending order after ga, what comes? Have you memorized this thing? But still you are able to answer it. How it is possible? No. The idea is very important. The second raga which was taught to me when I was in a middle school was like this. You have to take the combination of the two swaras together. Sa, re, ga, ga, ma. That is how they build on the rag. Right? Now what they are doing? And again in a reverse order. So any definition in the world or any statement in the world, if you find it very difficult to memorize, memorize by the way of music. You will never forget. Means what? Suppose I am having a simple definition. The momentum is defined as the product of mass and velocity. Then I'll first say the momentum. The momentum is. The momentum is defined. The momentum is defined as. The momentum is defined as the product. The momentum is defined as the product of mass. The momentum is defined as the product of mass and velocity. And then I will practice to recite in a reverse order. This is really difficult. But if you practice the memorization in this manner, most of the students have a common complaint. They come to me and they tell me, sir, I was 100% prepared for the exam. But at the time when I was writing an exam, I was unable to recollect one word, because of which I couldn't complete the paragraph. Has this happened with you? It has happened because you have never practiced the memorization in a forward and in a backward direction. By combination of words you have never memorized. You tried to memorize the whole sentence, that is creating a problem. I think you are getting the idea now. So memorization is by questioning, memorization is by recitation, memorization is by even reasoning. So many times reasonings are more effective, and that reasoning, if you are able to understand, you will be able to understand by memorization, by reasoning part also. So these different approaches are to be developed. What is more important is not the memorization. More important is recall. And in that part, most of the students are having failure. Why? Should I tell you? How do you prepare for exam? I am aware I have lived your life. How do you prepare for exam? Just before the day of exam? Sairam. Just before the day of exam, am I right? Revising it again and again, going for only one thing that is known as memory by recitation. But do you recall? No. You recall only on the day of examination. Am I right or not? And that creates a problem because memory will not support unless and until you practice recall. You are really a blessed one to be learning here, and you have all the yogasanas and pranayam involved as a part of your day-to-day activity. Why that is daily activity? Why not once in a month? Because to make our body in what I can say resonance with the nature, it is necessary to have this type of activity pursued daily. So memory and recall should be a daily practice. What I used to do, that I am telling you. When I was doing my MSc, I used to practice one thing, morning 6 to evening 6, only study, 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 learning, 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 no gap. I realized it very well that many times we sit for an hour, but deliver an output of an half hour. If that is the state of mind, you have to control yourself and see that you are putting maximum efforts so that output is maximum. How many hours you have spent on a topic is not at all important. How much output you have got in that given time is extremely important. After 6, I used to have time for leisure. By 8, I used to complete my dinner. 8, I used to go to my room, put the switch off, sit there in a Padmasana, and used to recollect whatever I have learned from 6 to evening 6. This is the recall practice that is to be done by everyone. I'm not saying that you should work on these lines, but somewhat, even 15 minutes of recall will help you to improve your memory by 25%. So recall is an extremely important process. So everyone should start practicing recalling. Then your memorization skill will be sharpened. Able to get it? And whenever I used to find that this is a particular point where I am unable to recall, I used to put on the light, get up from my place, take a notes or a book, underline that line, that this is the line which I am forgetting. So I was keeping the track of what I am forgetting and what I am able to recollect. Such a stock is never taken by the student, and that is why they find memorization difficult. But if you look at the logic that I have given you, your 90% of preparation of biology or chemistry is based on memorization. So if you put down the effort for memorization on this side, you will emerge as a good learner. You will be scoring good marks in the NEET. Just think of it. 360 is for biology, which is more dependent on memorization. 180, I can take here 120 marks also in chemistry, dependent on your memorization. 300 and 120, you have crossed 420 mark. Then remaining part of application, if you are able to do it, you will be able to cross easily 500 mark or touch the 600 marks also. So step by step, you have to understand the logic of examination and prepare. So I always call it as LLB, Lords of Last Benches. Because that day also sir was trying to make you sit in the front, you went at the back. But at the same time, I can say it positively to you, I was also always interested in sitting at the back. So don't worry about it. So I mean to say, I have given you the idea about how the memorization skills can be improved. Will you practice it? Surely. It's a word. And in this premises, you are giving me the word. I want to see the improvement in the memorization skill. Okay? So should I expect from all? Okay, thank you. So as sir has also come here, I'll do one thing. We'll go for the concept first. And at the end today, we'll go for some problem solving related to the concave and the convex mirror. Okay, so give the heading refraction at the plane surfaces. Refraction at the plane surfaces. So first important thing here is a word refraction. What do you mean by refraction? Bending or scattering? Scattering. Bending of light? When the light travels from one medium to the other, you are calling it as? What was the question I have asked you? Have I asked you define refraction? Whatever you are telling me is the definition of refraction. I want you to talk on the word refraction. You have to explain me the meaning of the word refraction. What is the meaning of the word refraction? Bending. So if there is a grandfather and he is bending, should we say that grandfather got refracted? Even though the medium has not changed? Change in direction. So on a road you are changing the direction, you will say that I got refracted to the right and then I decided to get refracted to the left. Refraction is the word. Anyone? So something is deviating. So suppose somebody is deviating from the path, you will say that that person got refracted. Only light, it is applicable. This word is applicable only to the light, not to the human beings or to the animals. But does it mean that refraction is only related to the light? It can be related even to the sound. Sound does bend. So I cannot say that this is related only to the light, but it can be also related to the sound. Obviously, waves will be there. Both are light and sound are both waves. Then what do you mean by refraction? Everything is simple. Now, just try to understand why you started telling me refraction of light is the bending of light when the light passes from one medium to other. This is because you have memorized the same, but you have not understood what is the refraction. So for me, refraction is made up of two words. You can check the spelling, it is the same. Only I have put the hyphen in between. What do you mean by re? Re means? Yes, it's again. It's actually standing for again and again. I'll put it as again and again. So re is standing for again and again. What is fraction? So part. So fraction is standing for part of the wave. Is light a wave or a ray? Wave or a ray? It's a wave. So when a part of a wave is passing from one medium to another again and again, part by part, then there is a refraction. What I mean to say is this: suppose you are having here a boundary separating the medium. This is representing a water medium. This is representing the air medium. And this is a wave of light. This is a wave of light. And this wave of light is going to travel along this direction towards the water medium. Will all the parts of the wave entering, will they be entering simultaneously or at different instant of time? Kaise? How? This is a complete wave. I can say that these are the parts of the wave. These are all parts of the wave. I have shown you the parts of the wave now. So all the parts of the wave, are they going to enter the water simultaneously or they are going to enter the water at different moment of time? After some time, the wave will come here. After some time, the wave will come here. After some time, the wave will be coming here. So all the parts of the wave, are they going to enter simultaneously or at different moments? Simultaneously. So is there a part by part, the part by part of the wave entering from one medium to other, or the whole of the wave is entering at the same time? Part by part entering, or the whole of the wave? Okay, I'll show you another picture. Consider the same situation here. Here you are having the water boundary that has been marked. You are having the air medium here, and now there is a wave like this. This is representing the wave of light. And this wave of light is going to travel along this direction. And there are different parts of the wave which we are able to show here. Now, when we are making a wave obliquely incident on the surface of the water, how the wave is going to travel? So in this case, will it be traveling part by part, or in this case, it will be traveling part by part? Only in that case. Because what would happen, after certain time, you are able to see here, this will be the position of the wave. Am I right? So the first part of the wave will be in contact with the water, but second part will be still away, third part will be still away, fourth part, fifth part, sixth part, seventh part will be away. After some time, when this part has entered the water, the wave will be appearing to you like this. Now the second part is in contact. Third part, fourth part, like this the parts will be there. After some time, you will be able to see here, this is the position. After that, you will be having this as the position. And part by part, the wave will be entering into the water. Am I right or wrong? So when you are having part by part, the wave entering from one medium to the other, and again they are changing the medium, then it is called refraction. When you are able to observe that this is the wave and this wave is traveling with all the parts together, all the parts here will be entering the water medium simultaneously. All will be entering the water medium simultaneously. Am I right or not? In this case, there will be no refraction. There is no refraction in this case. In this case, there will be refraction. Because again and again, part by part of a wavefront, they are traveling from one medium to the other. That is why the word refraction was coined. Yes, you have learned about it. Is it not the magic? You have learnt about it. I'll write down the formula. You will say you have learnt about it. Okay, I'll show it to you. What is the formula for refractive index? Any other formula known to you? Any other formula from the earlier standards? You have written a formula, sine of I upon sine of R. So when the ray will be incident, when the wave is incident in this manner, what is this representing to you? What is this representing to you? Incident ray. Because the arrow here is normal to the wave surface, it means that it is a wave normal, it is a ray. The ray of light is incident onto the water surface. What is the angle of incidence? Angle of incidence is always measured with the normal. So angle of incidence, if you are putting it here as equal to sine of I with I equal to 0, so sine of I will be 0. So what will be sine of R? So you will be having R equal to 0. So angle of incidence is 0, angle of refraction is 0, so no refraction is taking place. So when the wave is coming from top and landing or incident on a medium of a water, there is no refraction. But when the wave is obliquely made incident, if you assume that my palm is representing the wave, then my bottom of the palm will be touching the water first and then the fingers will be touching it. It means that part by part, when a wave is traveling from one medium to the other medium, refraction do occur. Now, have you understood the meaning of the word refraction? Are you getting it clearly? So it is coming from the word re and fraction. Re is standing for again and again. Fraction is standing for part by part. So part by part of a wave, when it travels from one medium to the other, there is a change of medium taking place for part by part. And that is the reason for the refraction to occur. Have you got me clearly? Have you got the meaning of refraction now? So this is what the refraction is there all about. Now, you have studied refraction in the earlier standard. Am I right or wrong? Studied? Okay. So, have you seen the rising sun? Sun at the midday? Have you seen it? Or setting sun? Same? So you will find that the size of the sun during the rising or setting appears to you bigger as compared to the midday. Why? Why it is so? Bolo? So actually the sun is becoming bigger when it is rising or setting. Is sun becoming bigger? Then why it is appearing to you? So angle is causing you the visibility as bigger or smaller. Can you prove that? Think about it. Why do the stars twinkle? Why do the stars twinkle? Why you can't see when the light is still there? Why there should be resistance? So do you mean to say that whatever rays are coming from the sun, they are also twinkling? Because you said it right now that whatever rays are coming from the star, that is giving us the twinkling effect because of the refraction of light. Does it mean that Sun is also a star, so whatever rays of light are coming from the sun, they are also having the twinkling effect. So it's related to the farness or the closeness. So if I want to say that there is a source of light closer to the water, it will suffer less refraction, and it is far away from the water, it will suffer more refraction. Because you are talking of sun is being closer. Sun is closer to us is a fact that we cannot deny. As compared to the other stars, sun is close. But how refraction is responsible for that, that we need to understand. Am I right or wrong? And I think the observation made by the poet is extremely correct. What is the poetry for that star? What star he is talking about? He is talking about the little star. And sun doesn't appear to us as a little star. So his observations are really good. Am I right or wrong? Have you learned about it? Right? So you need to think about it, why this is happening. This is another important part. We will like to discuss it later on. One more thing that you started with, I have not raised a question. Actually, you should have raised the question to me. You said that when the light travels from a rarer medium to the denser medium, what happens? What will happen? Rarer to the denser. They will be moving from, the light will be moving from, it will be moving towards the normal. And denser to the rarer? Can you prove this? Can you prove this? As a student, you should have already raised the question why I should believe that when a light is traveling from rarer to the denser, it is bending towards the normal. When it is traveling from denser to the rarer, why it is bending away from the normal? Practically, explain how. Far away in terms of linear length or the vertical length? So there are some tribes in which they are having a spearhead, they stand still in a water and they are able to kill the fish. Try it out. You will find it really difficult to kill the fish. The reason is refraction for that. So refraction plays an extremely important role. My question still remains there. By practically how you are unable to explain, but why it should bend towards the normal or why it should bend away from the normal. You can say. So decrease of speed of light, why it causes it to bend towards the normal? Which time? Which time? Your perception is correct. You need to explain a little bit. You will get a correct answer. So density varies. What effect does it have? Air is rarer medium or a denser medium? It's a denser medium. So that's a point. It's a relative term. When you talk of a water or a glass, the value of refractive index will be different. Water will be rarer with respect to the glass, but it will be denser with respect to the air. So these are all relative terms, rarer medium and denser medium. And most importantly, light doesn't understand that whether the medium is denser or rarer. Do you feel light understand if this is a denser medium, I should now bend away from the normal or towards the normal? Light doesn't have any sense in that part. Then why it is bending towards the normal? Which time I have asked you? Okay, I have told you something earlier to that. Something earlier to that. And it is connected to that. But I don't know whether you are able to connect to that and speak about it. But whatever you have a perception, it may lead to the correct answer. Any reference you can make about the things that we have talked in the class earlier? No wavelength, no velocity. It starts with F. No. Yes, it is Fermat's principle. Where you are talking about optimum time. Do you remember? That time you are looking at, but how it is to be incorporated there is extremely important. And I have mentioned earlier that Fermat's principle is the basic for reflection and refraction of light. Do you remember? So you should have got connected to that. Now let us first try to understand why does the light bend towards the normal when it is moving from rarer to the denser medium. So have you understood this part, that how the word refraction has originated? Should I rub it off? Now, we are having only one medium considered here. But that medium, I am considering it layer by layer. Have you got the words clearly? So I am considering here that there is a medium. The complete medium is represented by air. It is having different layers. The thickness of each layer is marked as D. This is air. This is also air. The thickness of each part has been marked as D. This is also air. The thickness, we are taking it as equal. The ray of light is traveling from the point A, to the point B, from point B to the point C, from point C to the point D in a straight line. This is the path of the ray which is traveling from A to B to C to D. So can I say here that this is the distance that can be directly written as velocity in air multiplied by time t, AB. Distance BC will also be velocity in air multiplied by time t. Distance CD will also be velocity in air multiplied by time t. Can I say that? Surely? Because it's a distance covered by the light. Suppose in a time t it is moving from A to B, then from B to C also it will take the same time. C to D also it will take the same time. Am I right or not? Why it should take the same time? Because layers are of equal thickness. So if you take here this as the angle, certain angle, I am taking it as theta, and I want to find out this particular side AB, then I will be using which formula? I will be using a formula here, cos of theta is equal to thickness D upon AB. Am I right? So the AB distance will be equal to D upon cos theta. Am I right or not? Am I right or not? Similarly, if I drop a perpendicular from here, this side will again be equal to D. This angle will be a corresponding angle theta because these two dotted lines are parallel to one another. Are they parallel to one another? So can I say that the distance AB here will be equal to distance BC here, will be equal to distance CD here, and that will be taken as equal to D upon cos theta, because everywhere the angle would be remaining theta only here. So can I prove here that all the distances covered are equal? The distance AB is equal to distance BC is equal to distance CD. Can I say that? Now if these distances are equal, the speed of light in an air is remaining constant. So will the time be taken equal or different? That is why I have taken VAT as the distance covered AB, distance covered BC, VAT, as well as CD, VAT only as the distance, where VA is representing the velocity of light in air. Do you agree to me? Now I'll make some changes here, and that is the reason I am actually changing the color of my chalk so that you can understand it clearly. Now what I do, I replace the middle layer of air by the glass. Are you understanding what I'm saying? What I'm doing? I am replacing the middle layer by the... So I am showing here a glass now. This blue part is representing glass of refractive index mu suffix g. This is the glass. Now, we are aware of the fact that velocity in a glass is going to be less than velocity in air. Am I right or wrong? This we have seen it earlier. Because refractive index is always defined as, suppose you want to find out refractive index of a glass with respect to air, it will be velocity in air upon velocity in glass, which is greater than 1. So velocity in air will be greater than velocity in glass. By basic definition of refractive index, we will be able to get this, right? Now I have introduced the layer, so if I multiply this relation on both the side by time t, so velocity in glass multiplied by time t should be less than velocity in air multiplied by time t. Am I right or wrong? Am I right? So you are able to see here that the product of velocity of light in a glass multiplied by time should be less than velocity of light in air multiplied by time, where time is equal. That's what you were talking about. That's why I have asked you which time. So this is the time that we are looking at. Okay. So this relation is okay. So it means that distance covered in a glass should be less than distance covered in the air. Now you look at it. This is representing the distance covered in air, BC, pink color. And I want to show the distance covered in a glass to be less than the distance covered in the air. So should I draw the line along this direction? Should I draw the line along this direction? Should I draw the line along this direction? This I call it as length L1, this as L2, this as L3. And original length is BC. So you will be able to see that BC is less than L1, less than L2, less than L3. But what we need? We need this relation to be satisfied. So in what direction I should show the ray? So I have to show the ray along this direction. Then only you will be able to see that this length is going to be less than the length BC. That is the reason why it is bending towards the normal. Now look at the point. He had given the answer correctly in the beginning. What did you say? You said that velocity changes, right? Velocity decreases. That is how you have used the word. But how that decrease in velocity is related to the bending, that is explained here. Able to get this part? Are you getting why it is bending towards the normal? If I show the light to be moving onto this side, then the length of the light covered will be more. Whereas the mathematics demands that the length of the light should be less in a glass medium. So you need to draw the ray towards the normal, then only you will be able to show the length less than that of the part BC. Have you got it? Have you got the explanation why it is bending towards the normal? Similar part can be used by you to explain when the light travels from denser to the rarer, why it is bending away from the normal. Can you explain that? Denser to the rarer. It has to cover a large distance. So will you be drawing towards the normal or away from the normal? Then only the distance covered will be more. Are you getting this explanation here? So this is how we are able to explain why the light is bending towards the normal or away from the normal. Before we proceeded, this is the part which I am explaining you, but before we proceeded, there is one more interesting thing that everyone should have noticed it, but I don't think you have noticed it. I am able to see most of you wearing the specs, or some of you are wearing the specs like that of me. What was your first day experience of the spec? When you put on the specs, you feel the floor elevated up. Did you feel that? Did you feel that? Yes or no? Today, are you feeling it? Floors are elevated. What happened? Yes? Your eyes are getting adjusted. Do you think? Eyes are getting adjusted. Obviously, eye lens are getting adjusted to the specs, and earlier it was not adjusted. Why on a first day you were able to see the floor elevated, and then you are not able to see the floor elevated, you are able to see the floor normal? Is the eye defect corrected? Is the eye defect corrected? Defect is still there. That is why you need to put on the glasses again. Then what exactly happens that today you are unable to see the floor not elevated, and earlier you used to see the floor to be elevated? One more interesting question is there. For that we need to understand some simple part. Consider that you are having a glass. This is representing a glass. The ray of light is obliquely incident onto the glass. We call this angle to be, what is this angle called? With the normal. Angle of incidence. Then the ray should have traveled along this direction, but you will find that the ray bent towards the normal, and you are able to show here this as the refracted ray with this angle as angle of refraction. Again at this point, I will be drawing the normal. This is again same as that of angle of refraction. And then when it is emerging out, you are able to observe the ray will be traveling away from the normal. Am I right? This is the way we are showing the refraction taking place at a rarer and denser medium boundary. Because when it is traveling from rarer to the denser, it is bending towards the normal. Traveling from denser to the rarer, it is bending away from the normal. Okay? No, they will not be equal. It will all depend. This is called angle of emergence. This is angle of incidence. Under certain situations, they will be equal, but not at all the times. It is parallel. The rays, if you remove the glass slab, the ray should have traveled along this point. So if I am looking from here, I should be able to see the source. But after putting a glass slab, the same source will appear to me to be shifted. Because light travels in a straight line. As this light is finally entering here, I may feel that the light is coming from here. Am I right or not? How does the light travel? Light travels in a straight line. So if light is traveling in a straight line, it should appear to me in a backward direction as if the light is coming from this point. Whereas light originally started from the violet point. Am I right or not? Correct? So just tell me, in a classroom, few students are wearing the specs, few are not wearing the spec. So those who are wearing the spec, they are finding my position somewhere different. And those who are not wearing the specs, they are able to see me my actual position. Because in between your eyes and myself, there is a glass like this. So if you look at the ray, the source of ray was like this. This was the source of ray of light. And the light was traveling in a straight line. But it got refracted, and because of the property light travels in a straight line, when I'm looking from here, this is my position of the eye, I am able to see that the light is not coming from this point, it is coming from this point. Similarly, when you are looking at me through the specs, you should be able to observe my different position. Those who are not wearing the specs, they should be able to observe my different position. Because those who are not wearing the specs, they don't have the glass in between the eyes and myself. So, do I have two positions in the classroom? Do I have? Then? So, is the deviation in the path, yes or no? So, you should be able to see that deviation then. Now, this is all about refraction. Whatever questions I have raised, I will be providing the answer to that. But this is actually the introduction for the part of refraction. These are really interesting things because it allows us to understand how the nature works. And nature does injustice to the fishes over the birds. They favor the bird and does the injustice to the fishes. Have you seen that kingfisher? That bird is able to dive into the ocean, pick up the fish and move away. So nature is doing favoritism to the bird over the fishes. Do you know why? Do you know why? Many times you are able to talk about that when we look into the water at the fishes, we are able to see the fishes moving inside. Have you ever thought of how the fishes are thinking about you? Because if you are able to see from air to the water, and there is an example taken that in a beaker there is a water and you are putting a pencil, it appears to you bend. It appears to you that it is bending. Pencil is bending, that is what you are able to see there, right? Am I right or wrong? Similarly, the fishes are seeing from water to yourself, they might be feeling that you are also bended. Because you are standing in the water, part of the feet are inside the water and part of the body is outside the water. So they may start feeling that you are bending in some other direction. And they may be defining that human beings are not erect. They are erect up to a certain length when they are in water, and above the water, they are bending. Have you thought about it? The whole process comes from this particular topic of refraction. Even the formation of rainbow is the result of total internal reflection as well as refraction. So this is a topic which we are going to learn here, and you will be able to understand to the greater depth how these things are working. So any other thing that you wanted me to talk on, or should I proceed? Okay. So we are having here some of the important formulae that we have to first cover. I need to understand how many formulas we have made up till now. 46. कंपेयर करके बताना पड़ेगा सही में बना है या नहीं. अच्छा, have you considered that formula that we have taken it as a problem? If you have not added it as a formula that you should add. You should add all those formulae which we are taking it in the formulae. So how much number it should be? Maximum number कितना है? 52 is there. So 52 formulae to be memorized along with the meaning of the symbols. Okay? Now this would be surely increasing the list, and probably by the end you should be able to touch 100 without syllabus getting over. So you can imagine how much work is required. Okay? So just put down the points which you will be able to understand directly, few of the points there, and we'll come to all these points and discuss it one by one. But I think now you have got the answer why it is bending towards the normal. Why it will bend away from the normal towards the normal. The word refraction. So part by part अगर हो रहा है तो ही refraction होता है. Complete wave is incident, there is no refraction. That is why angle of incidence was 0. Angle of refraction is also 0. So there are conditions for no refraction that we'll list out later on, but we'll just proceed with the formula and the basic relations that are there. Write down. Absolute refractive index. Absolute refractive index is defined as the ratio of speed of light, in a free space to that in a given medium. So that will be your first formula. You will be having refractive index is equal to speed of light in a vacuum upon speed of light in a medium. Many books are talking of mu, or they call it as eta for the refractive index. Both symbols are used. Speed of light is denoted by C, speed of light is denoted by C, and V standing for speed of light in a medium. We'll then meet again and analyze the further points. See you. Thank you. Sai Ram.